In this video, we'll integrate user authentication to our React application using Clerk and then update our navigation menu for state updates. If you're new here and you want to learn more about MERN Stack development, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one. So, user authentication is a process of verifying who a user is, usually done with username or email, which uniquely identifies the user, and then a password, which protects the identity of a user. And authorization is a process of identifying what a user can do based on their role. And this role can be user, moderator, admin, anything. So what is a security token? This part denotes if the user logged in a valid way once the username and the password have been authenticated. The purpose of this security token is to prove if the user was already authenticated once. It eliminates the need to re-enter their credentials for every single request or a page visit. The best example, the JWT. So what is Clerk then? Clerk automates everything I just mentioned up to now. It's a secure third-party authentication and user management platform. It's a backend as a service. The main difference between implementing authentication manually versus using Clerk is that it handles all the complexities of user sign in, sign up, and then profile management altogether. And we can directly use their pre-built UI components on our applications right after we have configured them properly. And it works without a backend from our end, since all our user information will be stored on Clerk's cloud platform. Now let's see how all of this will work in action. Now go to this website called Clerk.com. It provides us with full stack authentication and user management. Let's sign into the application. I'll choose the Google option. So it takes a moment to configure everything. And in here, we type our application's name, which is AI Expense Tracker. And below that, we can choose a sign-in option. I'll choose Microsoft, Facebook, and Google. And click Create Application. In here, it shows us how to configure this Clerk for our React application. And if we scroll down, we can see some steps that we need to follow. Now, step 1, we already have done that. Let's copy this one, the command to install Clerk React to our application. Now, let's open the terminal and stop the server and install Clerk. And then rerun the application. And now, copy the API key, also known as the publishable key, and create the .env file on the root of our frontend and paste that publishable key here. Now go to main.jsx, close others, and in here type const publishable key equals import.meta.env dot and get that name from the env file, white Clerk publishable key. And then we type if that publishable key is false or not available, we'll throw a new error that says missing publishable key. And after that, add Clerk provider and wrap the app.jsx and then pass the publishable key. Let's adjust these imports a little bit. All right. Now go to git ignore file and then add the .env file here so that it won't get committed to the repo. And now go to pages and create the dashboard.page.jsx. Let's rename this to dashboard page. Remove that. And then remove this div. Inside this, we'll type a div with a class name of rounded, large, corners, and a margin of 2. And then margin of 20 on medium and a margin of 30 on large strings. And then padding of 8 with background of primary foreground. And then an h1 tag with a class name of font bold. Text is large that says this is the user dashboard. And that's it. Let's go to pages and create sign in page.jsx and then rename this to sign in page. And then remove that. In here, type a class name of text item center and justify center with a minimum height that is calculated for 100 VH minus 6 RAM. And then padding of 8 on large screens. And inside that, add the sign-in component from Clerk. Where we say sign up URL will be /register, and then post redirect URL will be user/dashboard. And then for the appearance, we'll give this as variables, where the color primary will be #00B for D8. And then one would be color background and the other one would be color text. This would be F9, 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 and then 333. Alright. Now let's copy this return element and create a new page called signuppage.jsx. And then make this sign up page and then paste it here. Remove that and just make some minor changes. Remove that -6 RAM and then add my10. This will be sign up component. This would be login, and then close others, then close this as well, and then create a new layout called protect layout.jsx. And in here, make this protect layout, and then type const. We pass is loaded, is signed in, and user equals use user. We destructure these from it, and below that we type if is loaded is not true, it should return null or a loading spinner, and if is loaded is true and the user is not signed in, we send them back using navigate from React Router DOM to the login page, and then console the user object, and then we return the outlet if not. Remove that, and now go to app.jsx, remove this homepage route, and then add these comments: public route, authentication, and protected routes. We'll do something interesting here. Create index route component. Pass it as component, remove that. And then in here, we check if the user is loaded and signed in. Let's actually copy this from protect layer, copy this line, bring it down here, and then remove user and import it. And then let's actually copy the whole thing. Copy this entirely, bring it down here. And now let's edit it. Remove that. Here we say if user is signed in, we navigate it to the user.dashboard, remove the console log, and then remove that return statement. Then in here, we return the user to the home page if the user is not signed in. Now in app.jsx, we create a route for as the main route. So we pass index and then element equals index route component. Let's remove that. We won't be needing that. And authentication, we create another route with path and then the element. Now we have two of these. One is for login and one for register. This one would be the sign in page and then the sign up page. These are authentication routes. And then below that we have protected routes. Let's copy this down here. The element would be protect layout. And this will also have a closing tag as well. So inside it, we pass our protected routes. So in this case, the first one would be user dashboard. Again, we pass it as dashboard page, and that's it. App is all done. Now let's see how this looks like. Now let's scroll up and let's check the sign up page. So I'll click to sign in, and this is our dashboard page. We have successfully been authenticated, and You'll notice if we click any of these links, it won't work. Even if you try to go to login or register, it will take you back to user dashboard. Now let's conditionally render the header component. Watch this far? Leave a like. It helps me reach a wider audience on YouTube. Now let's close all these and go to the header. And in here, scroll down and under brand, get this padding and then remove it and type find out component from class. Now we are going to completely remove the render nav items. So let's cut this entire thing from there, come down here, then paste it inside this, and then make each menu into a separate nav menu item like this. Just have the navigation menu link inside the nav menu item. Do it carefully, just the way I have shown here. And you need to do this to every single nav link. Okay, and then cut this whole thing, come back down, and below navigation menu, paste it here. And just make this auto and then hidden. And on large screens, it will be flex. And then add the sign out component here and wrap it here. We'll remove that. And then add sign in component. And inside that, you just pass the user button. This will let us to manage the user account. And then come up here and then remove this entirely. Then scroll down to the sheet component area. Grab it and then type sign out. And then that sheet inside that. And then in here, scroll down a little bit. Remove the sheet close. And then scroll down a bit. And then come down here. Yeah, copy that and then bring it here below sign out. And that is pretty much it. And we'll just remove this one. Alright, let's see how this looks like. I'll just sign out quickly and then now all our nav links work perfectly. Let's go to the dashboard page and you see it won't work. So let's log in directly. Alright, we are logged in. We are on the dashboard page. If you go to register or login and anything related to the homepage, it will redirect us back to this dashboard. And if you click the user icon and click manage account, you will see your profile details here and then some security information you can check. Now this whole thing comes pre-built from Clerk itself. We don't do anything else. Now let's see how this looks like in a mobile view. We can sign out from here and all these links work just the same way. Functionality will be very similar to the desktop view. In the next video, we'll take a look at how to integrate Clerk to our backend API.